Hello and welcome everyone to another StarCraft 2 England cast. Today I've got a sweet game between LiquidSheth and Evil Genius's ThorZaIN. And well, what can we expect from these two players? Well, it's a ladder game, it is a ZvT. That means Sheth almost definitely going to be going for a 15 hatch 16 pool. And well, ThorZaIN, he's probably going to go for a 1-rax command center. ThorZaIN, of course, is a very strategic player. Doesn't like to take big risks, just slowly munch away at his opponent and just see what damage he can do. Obviously, they are close positions, which can be a bit of fun, especially this third base for Sheth could get into a little bit of problems if drop play came in, because that little jump is tiny, and we wouldn't want ThorZaIN getting an easy kill on the third, would we now? Because, well, actually we may do. It depends. It makes for a good game, but I quite like really close games, to be honest. It's awesome. This is just a ladder match, so it's not best of 3 or anything like that, just to keep you in the know. And well, so far this supply depot being there basically suggests that ThorZaIN is going to be going for a command center first build, because otherwise he'd be start walling off just in case, but actually going for that barracks. So it's still definitely going to be an expansion very early, because he's walling off here, so if it was a 6 pool or anything like that, he'd be in a good position. But to be honest, he's probably just going to go for that 1-rax command center, and why not? Because nearly every Zerg goes for a 15 hatch, so by getting the early command center, you force your opponent to try and get a really quick third, or deal a lot of damage off 2 bases, neither of which are that easy for a Zerg player to do against Terran, which is really why they're very effective. So what are we waiting for? We do have ThorZaIN actually going for that refinery, so we're not going to see a 1 barracks command center, which is so much more common, and really poses the question, what are we going to get? Could we possibly get some kind of Banshee play? Maybe, but there's no second gas yet, which does suggest quite a bit. Hellions, maybe, but this barracks isn't in the right place to get the reactor, so I'm really interested to see what ThorZaIN is going to do. I'm generally confused. Usually you see the barracks up here and a wall off if they're going to get a gas early, at least generally, and that's where the barracks is going to move to. So clearly ThorZaIN just doing this for defense against super early pools before the wall off came. Very interesting. We do have a factory coming down, so it's going to be a reactor expand, a reactor Hellion expand. We do have the pool on its way for Chef. Now the reason you see a ever-increasing number of turns shift away from this reactor Hellion build is just because after the Queen range change, it becomes very difficult to deal damage with those Hellions. You can get the map control, but you can't attack the drone line. And I guess the reason ThorZaIN is going for Hellion expand on this map is because there's just so much space. The Queens will really struggle to defend all of these avenues of attack. I mean, especially this top is huge. You've got around the back, there's lots of ways to get those Hellions in and get some drone kills. So it'll be interesting to see if ThorZaIN can do that. And he is expanding behind it, of course, so only a little bit of a delay, but Sheth will have that better economy for a while. And that really means that if these Hellions don't do damage, it's not going to have really been worth it for ThorZaIN. But I guess Sheth, he is getting down that spine crawler. If he gets 2 queens, he'll be okay. If he gets 2 additional queens, so 4 in total off 2 base, he'll be in a great spot. And there we go, that is exactly what he's doing. So this will help him deal with these Hellions so well, and I can't help but fear ThorZaIN is already going to get a little bit behind here. Still also mining gas, which is really interesting. Probably just going to get Tech Club down and start on Stim as soon as he possibly can. But no, actually going to get a 3rd command center super fast. So ThorZaIN is just literally doing everything I least expect. And it's like he's doing it on purpose. But this 3rd command center is going to be great. It means he's going to be able to catch up Chef in terms of the economy. The mules make a big difference. The Queen's moving forward. The creep spread is going. The spine on its way as well. These Hellions just spotting everywhere, trying to find the location, because of course ThorZaIN hasn't scouted before this. There goes down that tech lab, but 100 gas already banked up. What is ThorZaIN going to use it for? We'll wait and see. Another orbital command getting morphed in here. The Hellions are going to try and do some damage. There are only 2 Zerglings out on the field at the moment. They're both going to get taken down pretty damn easily. There are still 2 more which are going to try and sneak out, but will the Hellions be able to get them and assume total map control? 2 Hellions won't be able to push up past this. 4 will lose quite a bit, but if he did go for 6, which ThorZaIN is doing, they could do some damage if they get in. Of course, 4 Hellions is the money number. That's really one-shot drones. And now we do have that tech lab down for the barracks. So this barracks is just powering add-ons right now, which is really interesting. Clearly that factory is going to move as soon as, well, now, basically. I was expecting it nearly instantly, but somewhere ThorZaIN's attention was taken. This creep spread getting further and further. Roach one on the way because, of course, the commitment has been seen to get quite a few Hellions out, especially early. You know, that's coming quite significantly. We do now have the factory coming out with siege mode, so it's going to be tank marine, which is very, very standard follow-up. These 6 Hellions are doing very little, though. And now with this wall off coming on, Sheth is in a great spot, to be honest. I mean, let's take a look at the worker count, 40 to 32. Admittedly, though, with this third orbit commanding, that should actually mean that ThorZaIN is slightly ahead in terms of income, or he will be very, very shortly, specifically in minerals, just because of the additional mule production. Now the additional mules are in, are we going to see that reflected? Nope, apparently not. It's going to be exactly equal for the moment. But generally, a rule of thumb is each mule is worth around 5 workers, give or take. Now these Hellions are just going to come up and check for a third base. They do want to stop the creep spread getting too much further. That's the really important thing. And now we do have the first tank out for ThorZaIN here. What about at Sheth's side? Well, he's getting up a macro hatch. He's getting his 2nd and 3rd and 4th gas up. Well, it's his 3rd and 4th gas, to be fair. He's already on 2. That means he's going to be able to comfortably start getting lair tech and really pumping roaches, getting that roach speed when he needs it, starts getting the upgrades, all the important things. Meanwhile, we do have the Hellions poking around. This is a great little trick by Sheth. Just expand the creep on the high ground. If you already have creep on the low ground, putting tumors on the high ground still spreads it. So that's pretty good, and means that, well, essentially we may see Sheth creep around these Hellions, which would be just hilarious. A lot of Zerglings coming out, so ThorZaIN does need to be careful, because if the creep spread gets too good, the Zerglings will be able to get around very comfortably on those Hellions, and they will go down very, very quickly. And that is exactly why it seems like these Hellions are moving back. They are not comfortable on the edge of the creep. The Spine Call are moving down, which may actually get focused if ThorZaIN did want to go for it, but with not enough Hellions, I don't think that will be the case. Meanwhile, 2 tanks are out, more barracks on the way, the starport on the way as well. The third base is getting taken though by ThorZaIN, and that's going to put him on equal, well, a base up for a little while, and then equal bases with Sheth. And taking a 4th isn't necessarily the easiest thing in the world. A lot of these Zerglings did manage to get out, so we may see them try and pick off these Hellions, get a full surround, or maybe they'll just go straight for ThorZaIN's base. But with 3 tanks there, that's not going to be too effective. The 1-1 upgrades are on the way for both players, slightly ahead for Sheth. Of course, the +1 carapace essential. It means tank fire doesn't one-shot Zerglings and Banelings as long as the tanks don't have any upgrades. But here we go, it's actually going to engage slightly before that upgrade's done, which if it was a split second later that would have been a lot more effective. The Hellions are trying to come back. The third base is very, very secure for ThorZaIN right now, and if we look at the work count, 81 to 59. So that income is going to be very, very similar. Of course, a bigger army supply available for ThorZaIN, just because he doesn't have workers taking that up. The infestation pit is coming down, a 2nd macro hatch as well here for Sheth, and well, what is he going to do? He's got no sign of that road speed yet. He does have the +2 carapace upgrade coming down, and also drop tech. Now that is really interesting. I really look forward to seeing what Sheth is going to do with that drop tech. Hopefully something awesome, because that would make everyone happy. ThorZaIN needs to defend it very, very carefully, and I'll be interested to see how he goes about that. The starport was down somewhere, I know I saw it, but the medevac numbers, well, apparently there aren't any on the field yet, so not quite sure what that starport's doing for the moment, but we do have quite a scary push here from ThorZaIN. Those Hellions are there, the siege tanks are ready as well. If they siege up, these 2 queens are going to get absolutely vaporized. One nearly goes down instantly, a good scan goes off, wants to pick off a lot of these creep tumors, and well, we do suddenly have a lot of Zerglings at the top position. The +1 vehicle attacks on the way, 2-2 upgrades on the way for both players. Hive even coming out for Sheth here. There's a really early hive around 12 minutes, and ThorZaIN just picking off some creep and pulling back. He wants to play defensive. He doesn't want something like this coming and ruining his lovely day so far. I just picture ThorZaIN happily skipping through meadows of grass or something like that. Who knows? But anyway, ThorZaIN, he wants to win this, obviously. It would be good, and he is ahead in supply, which is generally a very bad sign if you're a Zerg player and you're behind in supply. So currently I'd say ThorZaIN is in a dominating spot, especially once those 2-2 upgrades kick in and the +1 vehicle attack. But of course 2-2 still coming out for Sheth, and he does have a lot of key tech coming out. Pathogen Glands is just finished. He's got the Spire, he's getting the drop tech out, he's also got Burrow. What's he going to use that for? Is he going to do much? But for the moment, a couple of Hellions go down, but quite a few Zerglings. If we look at the loss tab, only 150 resources lost, so, well, that's to 1,000. Double expansion is coming out, though, by Sheth for the moment. More factories coming out for ThorZaIN, who has just got really nice composition. This is actually quite dangerous, and especially once these 1-2-2 upgrades come in, it's going to get even harder for Sheth. Of course, the 2-2 are about to kick in for him. All of these units are ready for a massive drop. There's so many Zerglings there, and really the question is how is Sheth going to defend this? At the moment, ThorZaIN isn't pushing through, but suddenly we've got a lot of Zerglings in your base. ThorZaIN, prepare for that, or you're going to have a nasty, nasty time. And what is ThorZaIN going to do? Is he going to pull back? Well, he's already loading up a drop. There's just so many Zerglings here. What can you do? Do you try and base race? Well, it's probably not going to end up too well for you. And suddenly ThorZaIN has gone from being in a really dominating spot to being in a really bad spot. Sheth does have the 2-2 upgrades, but so does ThorZaIN. These infestors chain fungling the group of Marines. There's going to be a lot of dead Marines, which is always very, very fun for Zerg players. A lot of Zerglings are sweeping around. Where are they going? However, if you just look here, so much being taken out by Sheth, who is temporarily supply blocked because all those overlords which were dropping are being taken out, and this is getting pretty insane now. ThorZaIN still just methodically trying to deal with this, but massive reinforcements coming in right here, and I do think ThorZaIN should be able to clean this up, but suddenly this third base isn't looking too happy. Neither is the natural, and well, a lot of stuff can go down very, very quickly. I mean, if we look at the income, it's still 57 to 70 workers, and well, essentially Sheth is holding on by just having amazing infestor control and picking off groups of Marines at every possible opportunity. But those tanks there creeping forward, this third base is now under threat. Can Sheth get in there to defend it? Well, probably not, because, well, the tank placement is great by ThorZaIN. And suddenly we've got both these players pretty much on the ropes. ThorZaIN has managed to clear up all the drops in his main, but did lose 21 workers. However, Sheth about to lose his third, and I think ThorZaIN, unless Sheth does something amazing, should be able to take this now. I mean, yes, the Great Aspire is about to be done, but with only 1,000 banked, that's not that many Broodlords, and it could take an awfully long time. But out come the Infested Terrans, just so many popping out here. Of course, Infested Terrans only cost energy, and energy units engaging non-energy units is always fun, although not many were killed. The drones trying to run away as best they can, but they're all going to get cleaned up very, very comfortably. One drone nearly made it, but unfortunately not. And of course, Sheth now lost a base, but does have these 2 bases he built earlier. So it's a real case of here's some I prepared earlier. The tanks are getting a little bit exposed. ThorZaIN wisely pulling back. I don't think he knows about these 2 bases, which of course are essential to Sheth right here. And ThorZaIN, in what can only be described as a massive ballsy move, is expanding towards his opponent, basically next to their base to get the gold. But suddenly you will see the creep spread is a giveaway, and now what do you do? There's a couple of Broodlords out here for Sheth, but of course needs to be very, very careful with those Marines, and Infestor on its way down. A big fungal growth would be absolutely devastating for ThorZaIN right here. The Broodlords are there, the Zerglings are coming in, but the Infestor, will it realise? Yep, the Infestor's coming back, and that fungal growth could literally turn the tide of this battle, and there we go, suddenly doing huge damage, and the Broodlords will clean this up. And now most of the Marines cleaned up here by Sheth. There's some Corruptors down as well, and that's going to force ThorZaIN to move back and rethink how he's going to deal with this. And yet again, it's equal bases. ThorZaIN even pulling the base back and going to take it at the top, but there are just 4 Zerglings there ready to prevent it. And this is just really, really good play by Sheth. How he's still in this, I do not know. ThorZaIN may be being a bit too methodical for his own good, but well, basically Sheth is down to 1 mining base. He needs to drone transfer up, but that would be very, very dangerous to do. Although this could be the opportunity to do it. ThorZaIN is 30 supply ahead, and if we look at the army, that's 106 army supply to 57. Of course, so much of Sheth's supply, well, 20 more supply basically taken up by workers, and that might come back to bite him, because obviously ThorZaIN able to get very, very ahead very, very quickly, especially if we start looking at just the pure amount of army now, nearly double for ThorZaIN. So if ThorZaIN just goes down and pushes, he could be good, but the tech is just right there for Sheth right now. He's got that Infestor Broodlord force that all the Zerg players do aim for in ZvT. ThorZaIN, on the other hand, he's only got a handful of Thors. He's got 3 out at the moment and 1 Viking. He's going to struggle to deal with this, especially as he's still producing medevacs, which I think is an interesting choice. The +2 vehicle weapons coming down, and well, ThorZaIN is nearly maxed out, and that puts him an awful long way ahead. The 3-3 upgrades on the way for Sheth. 3-3 already done for ThorZaIN though, and trust me, by this supply, I definitely think ThorZaIN could do well, but of course the fungal growths, they're a concern. The Broodlords, they're an even bigger concern, and now there's no Vikings down. That could get very, very difficult. A medevac, that's dying very, very quickly. The tank position is going to be essential, but of course the tanks, if they do siege, will start shelling each other once the Broodlords come in. So off they go. These Marines are going to need to be very, very carefully used. The siege does go up, but of course we could see them shelling each other, but instead ThorZaIN has amazing control, tries to pick up as many infestors as he can, but great fungal growth go off here for Sheth. I just fear there may be too much at the moment. But of course, if these Broodlords stay up, it would be absolutely fantastic. One dies, the second one is going to die very, very quickly, and now it is pretty much GG. Now those Broodlords are out of the picture. And Sheth, he put up a valiant effort, but just too much stuff here at the moment. Even a Thor drop going off, but that will get cleaned up by infested tones incredibly quickly, and so does the medevac go down. But ThorZaIN, he's still just going to move over. There was a drop up to the top base which picked that off through all this craziness. And even though there's a huge amount of infested Terrans, the tanks are just causing too much of a problem. And there's the GG, and ThorZaIN takes it. So I hope you did enjoy that game. If you did, step 1, thumbs up. Step 2, subscribe, because that'd be cool. And step 3, leave a comment. Why should you do each of those things? Well, the thumbs up, because it'd super help me out. And if you enjoyed it, why on earth not? Let other people know. Why should you subscribe? New awesome games up every single day. That is a pretty damn reason, in my opinion. And 3, why should you leave an awesome comment? Because communication is fun. We're social beings, us humans, so leave a comment and I may even reply if it's cool. So definitely let me know what you thought of the game. I thought ThorZaIN played sweet, and I thought Sheth's defense was very, very swish. Anyway, thank you very much for watching. I hope you did enjoy, and I hope to see you again. Bye for now.